Sometimes we want to make changes to the toolpath where it might be recutting an area or not cutting an area we need to machine. This lesson will cover some of the toolpath control functions available in Fusion for the turning profile. If you look at this toolpath, there are three areas we might want to make some changes. If we look across the front here, we can see it's taking additional cuts off the nose, even though we already faced off the front of the part. If you look back here on the flange, we can see that our toolpath ends exactly at the back of the part, with no clearance here for a cutoff tool. We might want to extend that cut. And then you can see in here where we have the groove, the tool wants to dip in a little bit. Basically, Fusion is trying to force that tool to cut as much as it can. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily want to plunge in. Or if you're machining a harder material, it might not be good for that additional plunge in that area. Now, before we modify the toolpath, let's measure the nose radius out here. Select Inspect from the toolbar. Now, hold down your Shift key and click on this part of the nose. Fusion should report that the radius of that is 8 millimeters, or we have a diameter of 16 millimeters. So let's edit the profile toolpath. Let's close this, and now we can edit the profile toolpath. Right-click on the profile and select Edit. Let's go to the Radii tab, and on this page, we can select how far we want to move for our clearance on the outside and how far we want to start towards the center line of the part. So the inner radius is currently set from the stock ID, which is the center line, to be offset a value of 0. What we're going to do is adjust this offset to be 7 millimeters. Now the reason I picked 7 is because the nose to the outside might be 8 millimeters, but we have a little chamfer on there. So I want to be just below that chamfer a little bit. The second thing we want to do is to extend the outside diameter cut. For that, we're going to go to our Geometry tab. On the Geometry tab, we're going to select Confinement. So here we can add an offset for the front side of the stock and an offset for the back side of the stock. Now I don't need to change the front side, although I could have made that same adjustment by using this instead of changing the radii value to the center line. But for the back side, we're going to tell it to extend this back an additional 5 millimeters. Now the last thing we want to change is how the toolpath was dipping in this area here. For that, we're going to go to our Tool tab, and we have a choice here that says Allow Grooving. This allows the tool to machine undercut areas if the tool will fit. It will go as far as is safe for the tool to fit. Provided, of course, your tool has been properly defined in the tool library. So we're going to uncheck that, and now we can OK this. So we can see our toolpath now starts from the chamfered area. It cuts straight across the grooved area, and now it cuts past the back edge of this flange. So that teaches you a little bit more about how you can control some of these toolpath functions. Now remember, you can use this toolpath to rough the part and finish the part, rough only, or finish only, and that simply depends on how you set these parameters. If you turn finishing on or off, or turn roughing on or off. Of course, you can't turn them both off. You must always have one of them active, and Fusion won't let you turn them both off. And that's basically how you can create a roughing cut to remove the bulk of the stock from your part and a finishing cut. In our case, we did both with one operation.